London has been cleansed. This catastrophe came about when an ancient malignant will crossed paths with mortal imprudence. For now, we are safe. For now. My craving for blood remains. Red like hate, red like hunger, red as life and death, passing from one immortal to another, from predator to victim, patiently biding its time to rise again. London has been cleansed for now, but there's a simmering hatred, fear, and old grudges. When will we succumb, mortals and immortals alike? The next disaster is only a matter of time. My only hope now is to catch the woman I love, to understand why she fled, and unmask the secret that has been lurking in her blood for so long. Well, this is it. Lady Ashbur's domain. Why am I not surprised it's not on any maps? I'd better hurry.
Wow. Chapter 7, Healthy Carrier. I genuinely am surprised. We have left the city. We are now in what looks like one of Lady Ashbury's paintings, to be honest. This place is very boggy. It's kind of funny. Ah, there you are. Hello.
Beautiful morn, my child. It looks like dawn is here at long last.
Can't you just leave me alone? Your precious queen has been sent back to the bottomless pit from whence she came. The nightmare is almost over.
I am here to say goodbye. The sun's warmth exhausts me. Soon I will rejoin my queen in her endless sleep. It is over. You did well.
Why did Harriet Jones become a disaster?
You are the doctor. You hold the knowledge needed to answer such a question. Have you the answer?
I noticed that all the Icors were female, as if a male couldn't endure the metamorphosis. Harriet was also a bitter and resentful woman, as was her daughter.
If the Morrigan prefers despoiled women to become the vessels of her wrath, we should be thankful that but one disaster hath been cast upon this wobbling world.
Icors seem to carry various diseases. They did not merely turn people into skulls. Their presence alone spreads death.
Who knows whether the Red Queen awakens when cursed mortals endure such epidemics, or if the contagions emerge like a curse as she awakes.
So our beloved mother will just go back to sleep, now that enough people have suffered. Is that it?
No, Jonathan. The Morrigan has been appeased because you dared confront her. You have prevailed, my bittersweet champion.
And what are you to her? Her counterpart? Her opponent in some timeless game?
She is my mother. My dreadful and sour-tempered mother. She is yours too, in a way, but you are not born from her terrible womb like me. You are but a distant child.
What does she seek? Revenge? Retribution?
She seeks nothing, since she only dreams of it. In the ancient tongue, when I was young, her name meant Ghostly Queen. Pray she never fully awakens, for her wrath knows no bounds.
This is not over. I am here to find the true origin of the blood of hate.
'Tis unwise to interfere with a tale rooted so deeply in the suffering of others.
What will become of the vampire hunters?
They will never stop searching for William Marshall, for he escaped their two great hunts. Remember that you too are now on their dark list.
What will happen to Ascalon? Will you let them run the country from the shadows?
With your progeny at its head, it would not be long before this Econ Assembly catches a second wind. To discreetly control its plans is your decision to make.
What will become of the Brotherhood?
The Brotherhood is as wise as it is ancient. You have nothing to fear from it.
I am not afraid.
Do you truly think they are merely scholars poring over dusty books? The stole of St. Paul wielded faith sufficient to cast a dragon into the abyss.
That is just a legend.
Am I not a legend? Are you not about to become one yourself?
No. I must know why Elizabeth fled here when I discovered she was the original healthy carrier.
No, she is not what you say she is. That is a secret you will discover soon enough.
And you? Why are you here? Which new thread of which old twisted plan are you seeking to pull now? Tell me the truth.
I am just here to salute my sons, and to bid them fare thee well.
Your sons? Plural? My God, will you ever stop speaking in riddles?
Perhaps I am too old for your spoken language. Perhaps you now have so many subtle words you no longer hear the simplest ones.
When he fought me, Geoffrey McCullum used a serum made of King Arthur's blood. Since then, I have discovered that it was vampire blood. Whose blood was it?
You just said it. It was the blood of a king. The blood of the champion I chose to save this land in its time of greatest peril.
King Arthur was also your progeny. Why am I not surprised?
Yes, he was. But he failed in the end. And for centuries the land suffered his defeat.
Tell me about William Marshall. Why is his blood so strong?
He is not stronger than you, only older. You are strong, Jonathan Reid. A champion of your time, chosen to defeat a threat spawned of this generation.
Is he here? Is William Marshall here? Is that why you're here now, too?
Have I not already answered that question?
His blood was not tainted. The blood Lord Redgrave possessed. That which I used in the serum. But what if it had been?
Then you would have failed, I suppose. For the blood of hate would have corrupted you too.
Who are your sons? Why do you bid them farewell now?
You are my son, as is William Marshall.
This is madness. How many have you created? Who else? Shakespeare? Isaac Newton? Alfred the Great? Francis Drake? Thomas More? Guy Fawkes?
My progeny is scarce, for I rarely feel the urge to protect this land anymore. But yes, one of those you named is your immortal brother. Maybe you shall meet one night.
So that is all we are to you? Puppets you create to defeat some threat born from a dreaming devil?
No. You are my sons. I am proud of you. I mourn when you fail.
Speak clearly then, and answer my last question.
What is it?
Did I defeat the epidemic?
Now you've found the castle, Jonathan Reid. Only you can answer that. Farewell, my child. I shall dream about you soon.
Wow. So that was a massive lore drop all in one go. I'm totally looking around because I see that the door is locked. So clearly...
I cannot enter. The castle walls look decrepit. Maybe I can find a way to sneak in.
Nope. Okay, so not this way. We'll go around the backside then, I guess. Up in there? No. Ah, through here. Okay. Stairs. Stairs. I don't know if I'm just looking for a way to her or if I should be like nosing around. You know? Can I open it from the side? No, it won't let me open it from the side. Okay. So... please don't get stuck on anything. I emotionally can't handle it at this point.
It's locked, all right. The lady of the manor isn't expecting visitors.
I don't think I'm supposed to be able to get in here. Don't you dare! God. I have PTSD of the worst kind. I swear if I fall...
Maybe it's just my imagination, but I think I smell Elizabeth's perfume. She must be here somewhere.
Old letter. London, 4th August 1865. Dear Lady Ashbury, thank you for your recent letter and all the good news it contained. I cannot wait to finally meet you when you arrive in London. The garden is beautiful under the summer sky. Although I noted your wish to avoid heat and direct sunlight because of your frail health, you're welcome any day. We'll discuss this wonderful idea of yours concerning the foundation of an orphanage for your young ladies, inspired by the French Maison Royale de Saint Louis, sadly closed when the French people chose, my God, I can't even write these words down, to cut their king's head off. Such a place, destined to provide a good education to gifted but poor orphan girls, will surely excite my friends here in the city. You can count on me and my influence to help make your project a huge success. Yours ever sincerely, Countess Alexandria Somerset. Interesting. All right.
This castle is falling apart.
He only just now is noticing this? It will allow me to drop down. Fake door. Interesting. Portrait of Dr. Jonathan Reid by Elizabeth Ashbury, 1918. Oh, she did quite a good job.
Elizabeth, my love, you allow my portrait to watch over you while you sleep. I'm flattered. Elizabeth, my love, you allow my portrait to watch over you while you sleep. I'm flattered.
You're assuming this is her bedroom. Copy of a letter. Ashbury Castle, 21st of September, 1795. Dear Mr. McAllister, as the new legal owner of the Ashbury estate, I intend to quickly engage in the overdue maintenance and repairs of the walls and the crypt of the castle. Among the few architects I invite to send forth proposals, I was most impressed by your respectful approach concerning renovations on historical buildings and their preservation. I would be glad to meet you at your convenience. My only request would be to speak to you directly and not your assistants. Any evening of next month would be agreeable. You may come to the castle, or I can meet you at your office as you prefer. If you agree to come to the castle, I could show you what kind of repairs and modifications I have in mind concerning the crypt, which may need considerable work and reconstruction. Very sincerely, Lady Ashbury.
Like most castles, this one has a crypt, and it holds something special inside.
Portrait of Elizabeth Blackwood by Johannes Vermeer, 1666. Interesting. Well, here we go. Whee! Death. Or not death.
That sweet fragrance. Elizabeth's perfume. She was here, and recently.
Okay, that door we can go through. We are looking around. No, nothing. No, nothing. Recent contract, Inverness, 18th of April, 1907. Dear Lady Ashbury, I write to confirm that my men will be at your castle next Monday to begin the new work on the crypt and its access. The plans have been approved, and I'll personally be on site to supervise the installation of the locks and security measures you have requested. I also can assure you that my men have been briefed about never entering the crypt itself or the second floor of the castle. I must say I'm proud to continue and enhance the work started by my great-grandfather when employed by your ancestor in 1795. Very sincerely, Angus McAllister. My American is coming out. McAllister. Old painting. Portrait of Elizabeth and Jacob Blackwood in Versailles, 1788. Perhaps her previous lover, her husband. This is a fire pit.
What are these symbols? I can feel a mechanism, but it doesn't work.
I don't know, but this is where I want to go. In the fire pit. Why do I want to go in the fire pit? I have no idea. Don't ask me these things. Oh, wait. Recent letter. Dunbarrow Sanatorium, Scotland, 27th of July, 1909. Dear Lady Ashbury, I thank you for your previous letters and ardent discussions about vampire folklore. It's now obvious we share an opinion concerning scientific and modern approach toward the need for blood and the cure for addiction. I must confess, I admire your charitable attitude when I met you at the Dunbarrow Sanatorium, and I'm still impressed by your kindness when talking with humble and poor patients. I was delighted to read about the position of administrator at the Pembroke Hospital you financed since its founding. After a few days of deliberation, I'm happy to accept your offer. It will be, for me, an occasion to get back to the busy streets of London after years of public service in the beautiful but far quieter Scotland. I will be glad to meet you there and discuss with you further about immortality, its advantages and disadvantages, and how to enhance your condition. I look forward to our next meeting. Yours sincerely, Dr. Edgar Swansea. Interesting. So we're just gonna deal with a lot of massive lore drops, yeah? Is that the plan? Alright. This is actually not the door to the room I thought it was gonna be. Okay. Well, we're gonna just take a moment to look at the everything. Is this the door that I think it leads to? Yes. Okay. So it does circle around. There's a downstairs. So before we go downstairs. Yes. Okay. I just want to make sure.
This painting looks suspicious.
What? What painting? That's not it. What painting are you talking about? This is where we came from. This is the front door that will not open. Oh. Do I need a snack?
I can't believe
I do need a bit of a snack. Alright, well, a little bit more of a snack, please.
This is despicable.
Is this the painting you're talking about? The Blood Queen, perhaps?
A sword and a moon are the symbols I should look for.
All right, sure. Old contract, Inverness, 11th of February, 1807. Dear Miss Ashbury, when last we communicated, you asked for the conveyance of a large coffin from Temple Church, London, to the crypt of the Ashbury Castle in Scotland. I am happy to report your request has finally been validated. My drivers have been informed that for security reasons, guards must always protect the coffin. You have hired these individuals who will be waiting for us in London. They also have been informed that under no circumstance should the carriage try to pass a river by boat, but always by road and bridges, for the precious wood and the relics inside the coffin cannot be exposed to humidity and moisture. You'll find a detailed quote for the entire operation attached to this letter. We are ready to go to London as soon as payment is received in full. Very respectfully, Samuel Lewis, independent contractor. I like it. Because of humidity purposes, these rare special relics cannot, be on boats. That's one way to go about it, I guess. All right, well, the door has been unlocked. Oh, this is where I came in from. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right, so then this door will also have been unlocked. Yeah, beautiful. Okay. I love when I can unlock a door. Oh, all right. Let's go down the stairs to the fake door that doesn't exist. All right. We're looking for a moon and a sword, guys. Don't know how I feel about this. A moon and a sword. There's a moon.
One last switch, and
The moon. Alright, which one is a sword? You're a shield. You're a sword. Voila. How did I know this is exactly where I wanted to be? That's so weird. Giant fire pit I can walk in? I say yes, yes please. Ancient Tome. 12:17. An angel came to me. Blessed be to God. Michael appeared to me last night in all his glory, shaped in glorious blood, to grant me eternal life at the dusk of my life. The apparition was so sublime and terrible that I could not help but lower my head and close my eyes. Struck by the divine gift, I fell to the ground, only to awaken the next night. You will serve me as you served your kings, said the angel before striking me with all of his power. You will protect this land through the eons to come. For all who knew me, I should now hide and retreat, for they consider me dead. Soon I will leave the companion of men to serve my new purpose. Blessed be God. 1350. Michael appeared to me last night in my retreat under Temple Church and asked me to prepare for battle. The land must be saved. Death is everywhere, the Black Death, an epidemic sent by the devil himself to punish mortals all over the world. My arm is strong. In the name of God, I shall smite the enemies of mankind. England shall prevail. 1569. It is almost 20 years since my fight started against the devil, and the end is uncertain. From time to time, the plague, the Black Death, reappears in a village, in a town, and each time the vicious minions of hell approach to get their share of the mortal suffering. Vampires, dreadful creatures. I won't let this land collapse. Until my last breath, I'll serve and protect England. 1578. Tonight, in the small village of Hoddesdon, I met the most delicate soul I've seen for a long time. She was singing for the dead, singing singing for those she knew and loved, those killed by a new plague outbreak. Without fearing for her own life, her voice moved me, so I chose to let her live. I offered her eternal life as a reward for her virtue and most pious attitude. Her name is Elizabeth Englewood. I'm not alone anymore. Together we shall praise God in all his glory for the eons to come. 1618. My heart is breaking. My soul is bleeding. Tonight, my dear Elizabeth left me. I have taught her all I know, all she needed to know. Now she must walk on her own path through the ages. This is her wish, and I will respect it. Elizabeth Englewood, my sweet daughter, is gone, for she now wants to be known as Elizabeth Blackwood. I made her a promise. If she ever comes back to Hoddesdon, she will find me there, managing the Bull Inn her parents owned before dying. William Marshall shall disappear for a few times, too, now that the Black Death is no more. Until we meet again, I shall be known as William Thorne, waiting for my angel to come back. Ah, her father was William Marshall. 1665. The devil is at work again. The Great Plague is back, reaping thousands of lives in London. I must sell the Bull Inn and go there. Once more, William Marshall shall protect the land. 1666. What have I done? I let the devil infect me. God, forgive me. The terrifying creature I had to defeat was a demon straight from hell, an abomination of the flesh, a walking apocalypse. I had to trap the dreadful creature in St. Paul's Church and set the building on fire. Without the advice of Michael, I don't know if I could have defeated my enemy. The flames cleansed the city of the demon's presence, but half of London burnt down. Ever since I had dreamt of a red flood, a slaughter of rage. It's like the disaster had tainted my blood, my very soul. For the first time in centuries, I am afraid. I shall crawl back to my retreat and pray to God for mercy for my infected soul. 1667. Elizabeth came to me. She said she felt my pain and rushed to save me. My poor daughter, blinded by rage, intoxicated by the blood of hate. I bit her. She fled, shocked by my betrayal. I laughed and cried as she cursed me. God, have I betrayed you? Have you abandoned me? 1712. My prayers have been heard. I have found the strength to resist the need for blood, the never-ending hunger. My poor Elizabeth, will you ever forgive me? I've heard you now kill and take pleasure in bloodbath with this new progeny of yours. You're a victim in all this. What have I done? I swear I will find a way to make amends for what I have done to you. I swear I shall only rest once I know how to appease the blood of hate. 1785. This man had a lot to write and a very long time to do it, so. The Brotherhood of the St. Paul's Stole finally agreed to meet me in London. They proposed to meet inside the new Cathedral of St. Paul. I like the wit and solemnity of these men. What a symbol to choose the place where I defeated this disaster, but also the place where I fell. I agreed to their proposition. There, in the sacred silence of the church and under the eye of God, they respectfully listened to me. They acknowledged my victory against these evil creatures, the Dus Astro, the Eater of Stars, who only wished to spread death and pestilence all around her. Since they acknowledged my will to save London in 1666, they heard my request, my burning desire to stop the blood of hate. Their primate promised to come back to me with an answer. The primate of St. Paul wrote back to me with just a name, the Tear of Angels. According to him, this ancient artifact could heal anything, cleanse any blackened soul, and purify my blood. Blessed be the Lord. It took me more than 100 years to find a cure for the blood of hate, but I may have finally found it. Soon the rage shall end. Soon I may repair the wrong I did and cleanse my failures. Now all I need to do is retrieve the necessary ingredients to create the artifact. Blood of the purest heart mixed with blood of a king. To find such rare ingredients is not what worries me the most. For time is on my side. It's the last part that worries me. Pure essence of garlic. I'm afraid it will literally hurt like hell when I drink the antidote. But if that's the price to pay to cleanse my soul and correct my mistakes, I'm ready to endure this excruciating pain. 1786. I finally managed to gather all the ingredients needed to concoct the Tear of Angels. Blood of the purest heart for the fortitude, blood of a king for courage, garlic essence for the painful cleansing. After months of impatience almost made me mad by the hunger, I waited again and again until finally Elizabeth cautiously came to me. As promised, I had chained myself to be sure I would not attack her again. I did not recognize my sweet daughter at first, for she only was Lady Blackwood now, the dreadful mistress of the dark, who took delight in slaughter and carnage in France. She smirked as I apologized and cried for what I had inflicted to her. She shouted at me when I tried to explain to her that my bite had infected her, had given her the blood of hate, now burning in her veins, in her soul. I told her I have found a cure, and that I had managed to create one dose of antidote. I gave it to her, to give her back her previous peaceful life. In exchange, I only asked her to take care of me, for I intended to be locked down in my tomb, chained if necessary, to impeach me from feeding on any mortal or immortal. She reluctantly took the Tear of Angels and left. I hope to see her again soon, cured and at peace. Oh, we're about to see him down in the basement then. Oh. 1794. She came back to me finally, cured, healthy, joyful, my Elizabeth. She told me she had drunk the antidote about a year ago in France, after witnessing and taking part in the massacre of an entire orphanage caused by the blood of hate. That's when the Lady Blackwood died, she said. She promised she would take care of me now. That's all I asked, as I repent for all the murdered souls caused by my negligence of more than 100 years. Okay, wait, so we have to go back up. So this was 1786. to 1794. So it took her a good bit of time to really come around. 1795. My dearest daughter came back last week to tell me of the good news. She has recently bought a castle in London. She will soon finance the renovations of the castle crypt to provide me a new retreat, far from temptation, far from the noisy, crowded cities. I can't wait to embrace the solitude, find the peace I need to refrain from killing. God, please give me the strength to restrain the urge during the journey from London to my new domain. Before I leave, I should give a copy of these memoirs to the Brotherhood of St. Paul Stoll, without the most shameful and sensible information, of course. Soon I shall leave London to pursue my penance. There I shall find peace at last, with the support of my resuscitated Elizabeth. Okay. So we were about to meet Mr. William Marshall. I am excited. We could have gone both ways. Interesting. I wonder if we're gonna have to fight William Marshall. Okay.
Drop your sword, Father. You have nothing to be afraid of.
Shall we abandon this then? Shall we lower our heads?
No, never. You taught me that.
Blood is approaching. Old but young. How strange. Shall I drink it? Smite it?
No, Father. He is a friend. Please, rest. I'll take care of it.
Caution, Elizabeth. Deceit runs through these veins.
I know, Father. What took you so long, Jonathan?
Is this really him?
Yes. This is William Marshall, 1st Earl of Pembroke, servant of 5 mortal kings, former regent and savior of England. The greatest knight who ever lived, according to some.
And you called him father?
For he gave me eternal life, and much more.
I have so many questions, Elizabeth.
You always had questions, Dr. Reid.
Now that I stand before you both, in this vault, I know not where to begin.
We still have a few minutes left.
Where are we? What is this place?
This is the Ashbury estate. I inherited the title when I purchased the castle.
Is this your retreat? Something of a secret place?
It's more of a sanctuary, really. This is where I take care of my father. Ever since he became unwell.
Are you not afraid someone might discover you here? It's not that hard to find.
Do not assume that I would hesitate to silence anyone who tried to reveal my secret. Fortunately, it has rarely come to that.
Why did you flee here?
When you told me I was the healthy carrier, I had nowhere else to go.
You mean you had to return to the real source of this scourge?
Yes, to end it, once and for all.
Will you go back to London?
No, Jonathan. I do not intend to.
And what of your daughter?
Charlotte is a strong, independent woman who's about to come into money. I took care of everything. Now it's time for her to shape her future.
I have destroyed the disaster, this creature that Harriet Jones had become. The epidemic is no more, and London will recover. In time.
Yes. You did well, Jonathan. You truly saved the city.
Yes, we did. Despite all obstacles. I'm truly convinced we did it together, Elizabeth.
I cannot bear knowing I was the cause of all this. Through the use of my own blood.
No. This catastrophe was the result of unethical experimentation. And the will of a creature so inexplicably evil. She exceeds all the terrible wonders I have seen since my death.
But it was my blood all along. My corrupted blood of hate. The poisoned blood of my father. A healthy carrier. That's all I am.
Is he dangerous?
What do you think? He is a thirsty echo who has not fed in centuries. An elder vampire, driven by an urge to kill and spread the blood of hate.
Can he communicate?
Yes. Sometimes he even seems like the noble knight who saved and raised me. But you know, the malice never fully leaves his eyes.
No redemption, then.
And yet he thinks he has been offered immortality by the angels to protect the feeble and to smite the unholy.
Why are you hiding William Marshall here?
How could I not take care of him? He sacrificed himself by giving me the only dose of antidote he had.
He gave you the antidote?
Yes. And in doing so, he knew he'd have to be confined here. And yet he volunteered. That's how great a man William Marshall was. And still is.
What do you do for him?
I visit him as often as possible. I paint the landscapes he will never see again. I feed him with my blood.
You feed him? You barely sustain yourself on the weak blood of the dying, yet you give him your blood?
After he saved me from the blood rage, I swore I would never kill to feed. He said the same.
We could cure him.
It's too late. The blood of hate has run for too long. The antidote would not work on him. I tried. Believe me, I tried.
William Marshall infected you. He is the true, original carrier.
Yes. But he saved me by sacrificing himself.
Saved you? How?
The tears of angels. The cleansing of impure blood by an older, more powerful blood. It worked on me, did it not?
Yes. Blood is the definitive key to our species. Scowls, cleansing, lineage. Do you really think it worked?
It has, Jonathan. I was nothing but a beast who took pleasure in slaughter. I roamed across Europe, reaping my bloody crop. It was the blood of hate. But my father's antidote cured me.
How did you meet William Marshall?
He was an Ekon for centuries when he found me. He saved me from certain death by making me his progeny.
Why did he choose you?
You should ask him that.
Did you ever blame him?
Not even when he was infected and bit me. He is my father. He raised me. He taught me how to behave.
Who are you, really?
How could I answer that? I went through many lives and identities to reach this day. To you, I am Elizabeth Ashbury, and that's all I wish to be.
I understand. And I respect your desire for privacy.
Thank you, Jonathan.
What about us?
What do you mean?
You know my feelings towards you, Elizabeth. But you left without a word. So I'm worried about your feelings towards me.
I love you, Jonathan. I've loved you since the moment I saw you rescue poor Mr. Hampton in that filthy slaughterhouse. Forgetting the danger as you turned your back, like the newborn fool you were.
You should have told me.
No, Jonathan. The William Marshall myth lies at the heart of so many hostile plans. I could not risk jeopardizing his safety.
So why did you come here? You knew I would follow you. I can't let you go.
Because I know now the blood of hate is still in my veins. No one but I can put an end to this tragedy.
I can help you. You can trust me, Elizabeth.
No, I cannot. You chose to follow Ascalon's orders. You unleashed an immortal Aloysius Dawson into this already fragile and suffering city.
Would your protege agree to speak with me? I have so many questions for him.
Go on, Jonathan. But be careful.
Yes?
Sir William. My God. You really are William Marshall. You served Richard the Lionheart and his brother, King John. It is such a privilege to meet you.
I did in my day. Come closer if you want to speak. For my hearing isn't what it used to be.
I think your hearing is fine, sir.
What is it you want then?
I found and defeated the disaster that was threatening to smite London. You should know that the city is safe for now, Sir William.
Then may I call you brother? Did you resist its poison? Even a scratch from a beast so evil could endanger you and all those you care for.
You also defeated one in 1666. Who was it?
She was a malicious witch who spread plague throughout the city with her army of rats. She had been hiding in a bakery in Pudding Lane for months when I finally found her.
How did you defeat it?
We fought for hours. In the end, I had to lock her in St. Paul's Cathedral and burn the building down. I wanted to be sure she was destroyed.
I found your research on the antidote. The tears of the angels. What ingredients did you use?
Once I understood what the ingredients were, I used the tears of King Richard and the pure blood of the valiant Boadicea.
King Richard and Boadicea? How did you find such relics?
It took me many years to locate their hiding place. Then I had to learn the formula. If I recall, it belonged to an ancient brotherhood. The Order of St. Paul, I believe.
And did it work?
Yes. The tears cleansed my poor Elizabeth's blackened heart. It was such a blessing to see her smile again.
The blood of hate. How does it affect you? Do you feel it now?
The blood of hate? Yes. Nothing more than a sneeze, really. A sneeze held for so long, you could blow a fortress down if you released it.
Can we speak about the Morrigan?
The Red Queen. What of her?
You met her, did you not?
Just once, but she never ceased to sing to me. I love her song. It is a song of blood and war, I only wish she would sometimes let me rest.
Do you know who she is?
I don't want to discuss this in front of my sweet Elizabeth.
Why?
For a time, she too could hear the Red Song. The steps she danced to its melody brought pain upon the world.
I would like to ask you about vampires.
Vampires? What about them?
Considering your experience, please tell me what you know.
They are terrible creatures. I have seen and fought many in my time. Foul temptresses with sharp claws and shrieking beaks.
I have never seen such a creature. What are you talking about?
Of course you've never seen a creature like them. Vampires are deadly, swift and implacable.
Where did you encounter such creatures?
The last time I saw one was in a Celtic temple near Salisbury. A terrible and god-forsaken place full of ghosts and pestilence.
Do you remember Myrddin, your maker?
Only God is my maker, for he created everything on this earth. He blessed me with eternal life through his archangel, Michael.
But Myrddin, Michael, is a vampire. He made you a blood-sucking creature of the night.
Blood, yes. I used to drink it from the throats of the unworthy. Then I was punished for my deceit. During my penance, I rely entirely upon my sweet Elizabeth.
How did you meet Elizabeth?
Times were tough. I had awakened to protect the land from a new plague. I heard her sing for her dead family. Singing for her death to come. I chose to save her.
When was that?
It was so long ago. A few years after Elizabeth of England and Catherine of France established their alliance against Spain.
What did you do?
I raised her as my progeny. After she left to see the world, I rebuilt her deceased parents' inn. Owned it as William Thorne for a time. Those were good years.
Tell me about Elizabeth. How was she infected?
I do not wish to discuss it.
Please, Sir William. I need to know what the blood of hate is. How is it transmitted?
After defeating a disaster in St. Paul's Cathedral, I returned to my retreat, infected. This is where my sweet Elizabeth found me, for she heard my pain from across the sea.
Where is this retreat you mentioned?
In London, under Temple Church, beneath my empty tomb. I always loved to sleep there while listening to the bell above.
What happened then?
The blood of hate had twisted me into a rage-filled man. I attacked my progeny and infected her too. Forgive me, Elizabeth. I failed you.
You bit her again? Is that how she was infected with the disaster's blood? I think I understand now.
Elizabeth fled, and I fell to my knees, begging for forgiveness. I swore I would find a way to make things right.
Did you really sacrifice yourself to save her?
That was the only righteous path. The blood of hate made me betray her. I am at peace here. I can think about what I've done and how I failed.
Do you not want to be cured?
No. This hunger is mine. I would feel empty without it. It has been part of me for so long. All I want is quiet. Silence.
You agreed to be confined here then?
Yes. Once I was sure she was cured, I asked to be locked down here. I deserve it. The world needs it.
We could set you free. Let you out. Isn't that what you want?
I pray for the day I'll see the sky again. I have all but forgotten its colors. I could walk and do so many things beneath the stars. But I doubt it will be wise to release me.
Then will you stay here and repent?
Elizabeth told me it will not be long now. I cannot wait to feel the sweet caress of her hand on my cheek after so long as she releases me. Has the time come?
Yes, Father.
Why not unleash me then? To see the sky a final time.
You already are the sky, and all its stars.
I'm not defeated, for I welcome the sword you bear, for it is mine.
You were never defeated, my lord. Farewell, Father. And to you also, Jonathan.
What do you mean?
I can't stand what I've become. This healthy carrier, as you put it. The flames will purify the poison that runs in my veins.
No! I won't allow this to happen.
I am death, Jonathan. Wherever I go, I can't stand it.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reid, champion of Myrddin, chosen to save England from the vampire epidemic. I could cure you.
What do you mean?
We are creatures of blood, Elizabeth. Everything about us is in our blood. With time, I could perfect the antidote William Marshall gave you. Trust me, for time is on our side.
That is a risk I cannot take, Jonathan. I won't bring another such disaster into this world.
Elizabeth, no. Trust me. I can save you.
How could I trust you, Jonathan? How could I take such a chance?
I'll stay here with you then. As long as we must, until I find a cure.
You have no idea what you're talking about, Jonathan. Despite his madness, William was strong enough to start the centuries. I doubt we can do the same.
We will lock ourselves down then. I'll get all the material I need and I'll perform my research here with you until you're cured.
Are you mad? Who would take care of us? Who would free us if it takes decades or even more?
Old Bridget will take care of us.
You are serious, aren't you? You really are ready to do this?
I love you, Elizabeth. I can do this. Please, stay with me.
I believe you. This is crazy, but I believe you, Jonathan.
One prayer for the summoned, called by this song. Child born from darkness, whose path ye must find. Now the song is sung, and your path chosen. England is safe, for you have prevailed. I bid you farewell, my champion bittersweet. You found yourself a newer quest, and so I leave you to it. My queen sleeps once again, and I'll soon join her slumber, until alas she rises, woken by the hunger never fed.
All right, so we did it. We made it to the end of Vampyr. Uh, it took from November of 2022 to September of 2023. So not quite a year's time. I really liked the game a lot, and so I want to start with the things I didn't like, and then kind of communicate my overall feeling. So I really was disheartened. The last, I would say, maybe 3 episodes, maybe more. I have been feeling very disheartened with the game because of the glitches, because of the grinding that seemed very unbalanced, and because there were just things that I didn't really understand, even coming to the end of the game, that just mechanic wise, not so much story wise. The story I feel like beautifully played out. But yes, getting stuck in a corner is going to happen, especially with a game this expansive. I mean, the mapping on this game and the character builds and everything, obviously, you know, it's kind of going to be expected. But it still doesn't take away from the frustration of falling through the ground, getting stuck in a staircase. There are other glitches that I have during my editing taken out altogether, but they were always very minor things, nothing too serious. However, some of these bigger things that I mentioned to you, I've left in to show you guys that there are some frustrations with this game. Do I feel like overall it's still worth playing? Yes. I think that I'm really happy that I pushed through and I didn't allow it to get me down. Was there a moment where I thought that I was going to give up on this game and literally just end it before ever, defeating the final boss? Yes. I genuinely walked away 2 times. It took me 3 to 4 sittings of trying to grind through the final boss before I was able to actually get somewhere with it. I did have to end up kind of cheating, and every time I would fail, I would have to just hard shut off the game and restart it so that way it didn't save the failure. It was the only way I could get through it. Those are the bad things, but overall, I would say it was still worth it. The storyline was still incredible. I think that the voice acting was really well done. The environment was very engaging. The combat, when it worked, which 99% of the time it worked, was really good. I never felt too overpowered. There were some enemies that became really easy, but then the moment I would feel confident, I would come across an enemy that was harder and they would just kind of beat me down. And so I did appreciate that. I liked the mechanics of like saving everyone in the city. It kind of had a nice feel to it through the majority of the game. At the end, I just decided not to put all my efforts into trying to like heal everyone because I knew I was at that final boss and I just didn't want to take the time to do it. However, through the whole time before then, I had no problem taking kind of a break from the main story to go and save people in different like sectors of the town. I felt like it was a really good way to kind of like explore the environment and also take a step back and see some of the side quests. I'm trying to kind of go through this quickly because I don't know how long this will be, but side quests, they were all really interesting. The characters were all very distinctive and unique. I wasn't specifically interested in getting the full playthrough in all of them. But that's just me personally. I also didn't want to 100% this game With as extensive and as big as this game is, I didn't want to take away all of its secrets. So for people who watched my playthrough and really enjoyed it, or really enjoyed what they saw, there's still more to be found, and there's still more goodies and stuff for you to experience firsthand for yourself. And I didn't want to 100% it, and I won't 100% it. Not on my channel. I might for myself personally, but I do want there still to be reasons for you guys to go out there and play it for yourself. Will I play it again? Yes. Will I play it the bad way? Yes. And if you guys would like to see that, then I may record it and show you guys. Just because I don't see a lot of people out there playing this game fully through. I've seen a lot of like first case people jumping in and playing it for a short bit, but and I can see why. It takes a very long time to get through the game. It's a very big game. And even knowing everything that I know now, I still think it'll take a very long time. And with the glitches and everything, I think it might be even more so a bit of a struggle. I'm not 100% sure. But yes, the soundtrack is breathtaking. The music is gorgeous, but not just the music, but also the sound effects. I feel like were very well placed and put in. The voice acting, I think, was really well done. I really enjoyed it. I never felt super hokey. Even characters that were a little bit more silly still came across genuine, as if they were who they really were. So besides voice actors, the soundtrack, which again is incredibly beautiful, and the story, which is very in depth and has many branches and side stories, the overall aesthetic, I think, is something I wish we had more of this aesthetic, this old, old world, European, Gothic aesthetic. It's beautiful. It's not too over the top. It's not bright and bubbly. It's dark and looming, but it's still beautiful. The way the street lights, cast a reflection on the water and the roads, and the fog as it rolls over the streets and over the water, and just all of those details, from the clothing to the kind of antiquities that are found in the buildings, and the furniture. And I love that they showed the incredibly rich as well as the incredibly poor in this time frame, and they tried to develop a world in which you could get lost in, and I 100% did. Like I said, I almost spent an entire year getting lost in this world, and it was beautiful, and I really enjoyed myself. And I hope that you guys did as well. And I hope that I can come across more games like this one, hopefully by, similar, developers and studio houses. And I would love to see what they come up with, if they will continue to do similar types of games, or if they're going to go off in other directions. I haven't really looked into that as of yet. I kind of just try to focus on one thing as it comes. But yes, I'm very interested to see what they've done and what they are going to be doing in the future. This game came out in 2018. Now, just to preface, this game came out in 2018. In 2019 is when COVID-19 hit the world running. The foresight that this developing house had to do a game about pandemics running wild, the fear and the looming threat and the stress of existing in a world where a disease is literally running rampant through your town. People you love and care about are falling sick and dying, and there's no real understanding of what's going on. That is incredible that they had that kind of foresight, or it was sheer luck, dumb, stupid luck, and they just happened to stumble across something that would be very relevant within a year's time frame. I don't know the answers to this. What I do know is that I'm so glad that I didn't play this game when it first came out, because I don't think I would have appreciated half of the things that were said by characters that you were passing in the streets. I wouldn't have appreciated the actual fear and dread that this game was touching on. The whole vampire thing, monsters going around sucking blood, infecting others. Yeah, it's some good scary fun. But they touched on real world fears, and they did it in such a way that I think in 2018, it would not have affected me. It would not have given me goosebumps, and it would not have necessarily driven me to really want to invest time in this game. Not like I did. Being that I lived through COVID-19, lived through meaning I experienced it, and we've gotten to a place now where the virus is being, I wouldn't say detained, it's manageable, because it's still evolving, and we're still having teams of scientists all over the world that are looking at it and watching it mutate and coming up with new vaccinations, and trying to keep everybody safe and healthy. But we're not in that state of panic that we were when it first came out, and we didn't know how it was spreading. We didn't know what it came from. We didn't know how it was spreading from one person to another. We weren't really tracking it, right? And so there was a lot of unknown and a lot of questions that had no answers, and a lot of propaganda, things that just weren't accurate or true. And so to experience that and then to play this game, I feel like the level of dread and anxiety I could connect with characters that weren't necessarily the main protagonist, right? He was already infected. He was already the vampire, so he didn't have to worry. But these people that were walking the streets, they didn't know. They didn't know if they were next to get sick, and they were just trying to continue working with the fear of what they were going to bring home to their families. It's real, right? It's real. And I love and appreciate the fact that they were able to capture that in so many different ways, and look at it from different angles, from different people's perspectives. And some people just didn't care. The pandemic was good for business. and others it was destroying their families or it was destroying themselves. So yeah, really appreciate it. Don't mean to go off on such a major tangent in regards to that, but I do feel like it's relevant, and I do feel like people need to really talk about it, because we did experience a global pandemic, and it's kind of crazy that in 2023 we kind of act like it never happened. Like we don't talk about it, we don't experience it anymore, and it's all like a bad dream. And it wasn't a bad dream, it was our reality for over 2 years. So yeah, that's my take on it. And if you don't agree with my take, that's completely fine, honestly. I'm not trying to stir the pot on the internet or to infuriate anyone who feels differently. Everyone experienced it differently. Everyone has their own take on it. This is my take, and if you don't like it, that's totally fine, and I have no ill will. If you do agree, that's totally fine as well, and honestly, I feel about the same way, which is, I have no ill will. If you agree or disagree, everyone has their own experience, and it's okay. And yeah, that's the deep, profound leftover feelings I have from Vampyr after playing it for as long as I have. Really great game. I will definitely play it again in my own personal time, at my own personal pace, and I will probably make all sorts of different choices just to see how differently the game plays out. But yes, overall, very satisfied with what came about. Sorry, I know this has gone on for very long, but one last thing. The end scene with Lady Ashbury. I'm assuming that I made enough good decisions that outweighed the bad decisions, because it really seemed like the only decision that she really cared about as being like an absolute bad decision was that I went against her and I turned the old man, I can't think of his name, Aloysius Dawson, into a vampire. That seems to be the only thing that was really like kind of tilting out of my favor with her. So I wonder if Miss Crane had been alive, and if Aloysius Dawson had been turned to a vampire, if she would have then refused, or if I had turned Edward Swansea into a vampire, if that also would have worked negatively against me, because none of that was mentioned. It was only Aloysius Dawson that seemed to be like thrown back up into my face. So I'm curious if there's like a super good ending where William Marshall is saved. He isn't beheaded. And also I wonder if there's a super bad ending where she throws herself into the fire. Not saying that I want to see her throw herself into the fire. Seems like she's a really nice lady. After all, I just was very questioning through the whole game if that was true. But no, I do not have any kind of ill will towards her. I know I made many comments about how I don't really like her and how I don't really trust her, and I don't really understand how the relationship is so deeply connected. That I think is just the fact that they kind of trauma bonded with each other. That's where I'm writing that off as. You know, it's a lot of trauma bonding between the two of them, and that's why their relationship is so strong in emotions. Sure, why not? You know, the romance in this was never really the point for me. So, yes, so that's it. Ending was super interesting. Really enjoyed that. Really interested to see what other types of endings I may get by choices that I make. Also, really interested to see if the more evil choices I make, if my figure doesn't change to become very demonic, because I was already getting the bloodshot eyes. So clearly I'm not a very pure soul. because in a very short period of time, I was looking like a little worn. Where Lady Ashbury's been around for hundreds of years, and she's still looking fresh and human. So, yeah, that's the other thing. But that's going to do it for me. I do hope that you all enjoyed, and if you stayed to listen to me waffle on about my experience with the game and my opinion, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. And I would love to hear your opinions on the game if you've played it, and what your experiences were with it. But this is it for Vampyr. We now have an open slot on Sundays, and I am very excited to see what we're going to fill that slot in with. If you have any recommendations, please let me know. But I'm going to let you all go now. Thank you again. And as always, do take care, everyone.